Hi, my name is Semi. This PowerPoint is based on simulations that we had during our class sessions. I will be discussing team dynamics. Our roles were divided based on the operations: production, sales, and marketing. People in production focus directly on the related matters: production and procurement. Sales activities, of which I was in charge of, include price setting, inventory management, and financials. Big decisions, such as investment plans, were made together as a group. I will also be covering the section on business strategy. For business strategy, our team initially focused on the 500-gram line. This was due to the high number of independent stores and grocery stores that were not only not price sensitive, but also responded well to the marketing. This was unlike the hypermarkets that were extremely price sensitive and did not care about marketing. Though following this strategy we failed. We further improved our strategy by adding the 1 kilogram line. This was after we discovered that the grocery stores will not buy any of our 500-gram line if we do not carry the 1 kilogram line, hence missing revenue. After switching our strategy to list the prices separately depending on the region, our revenue maximized. What we learned from this essentially was that it's important to 1. Set the prices based on regions that you plan to target the stores of. For example, in this simulation, there were more independent stores in one region over the other, hence why we focused to increase our marketing in that particular region versus the other one.
Now we will be moving on to the process execution. So in the process execution, our approach was to have one person for each certain process. So one for procurement, one for production, one for sales and pricing, and one for marketing. And we agree on what our focus was going to be as a group, and how we should implement it when we're trying to proceed with a better profit. during the rounds, though, we did see that there were changes that needed to be done within the process, and we had to decide whether or not we needed to increase our production rate, or we need to find out why we weren't getting enough raw material. Now, when we were going through our small evolutions, our focus had changed when we started noticing that we started getting stockouts, and we're low on raw material, and we weren't selling enough of the inventory at one point, and we had too much. So we kept having to change up what kind of strategy was needed to be done.
Now we will be moving on to our individual roles.
Price, inventory, and accounting. As the one with the sales role, I was in constant communication with marketing to ensure the right marketing budget is used to market our products to the specific regions, south and north. Constant communication with the production team was to ensure the timely restocking of the new shipment to avoid losses on sales, and more importantly, to avoid huge dips in our inventory slope. Lastly, I also monitored the financial statements and modified the prices accordingly. This does not mean that we introduced flash sales to create more revenue. No. However, we just changed our prices according to both the market and our accounts.
My name is Daniel Hara, and I was in charge of production. Production dealt with converting raw materials into finished goods. One of my tasks was to create planned requirements of the products we would be selling based on our estimate of sales. Once I did that, I made an MDP run, and then we were able to release the products to be sold. It was also important for me to coordinate with Jacob on the procurement side to make sure we didn't fall behind on production scheduling. We had to make sure we had enough raw materials on hand in order to be able to convert them into finished goods. I also had to make sure I was able to manage setup times and the switching of the different product lines so we could produce at maximum capacity.
So I was in charge of the procurement process. Some of the stuff I had to do was keep in charge of the conversion order. I always kept checking raw materials, see when they're coming in, so we could go and try to push out a finished product. I talked to Daniel, who was in charge of production, in the production process, and talking to him to be able to see when he made the purchase requisition and be able to start processing the different runs and different processes for us to be able to push out different products. As a group, we did help execute new strategies. We discussed on what kind of strategy we're going to do, how we're going to be able to process it, and if that wasn't working, then we'll go ahead and decide on something new. Some stuff we also did as a group was supervise the different inventory levels that we had. We always relayed even different purchase orders, letting each other know what date they were the item was coming in, especially when someone else was working on another process.
Hello everyone, my name is Walid and I am the marketing manager. I work with Poria Gassimi to allocate the marketing budget based on the percentage of the amount of available finished goods that we are trying to sell. One of my roles is checking the level of available finished goods to adjust the marketing of each product. I also decide what products to market and where to market each product.
I will now go over the data analytics in form of pivot charts to compare our results to the other teams. This pivot chart compares the overall sales of all the teams for all 4 quarters. In the first half, we had lower sales compared to the other teams. One of our issues was with production. We did not have enough raw materials on hand. By the third quarter, we fixed production issues, but pricing was not attractive enough to get the product sold. Finally, in the fourth quarter, we produced our best results and had the highest sales amongst all teams. The problem with this was that we ended up fixing all our issues by the last quarter, so we were not able to produce enough results to end up in first or second place. This pivot chart showed the trend in inventory levels for each team per quarter and then per day. In the first 2 quarters, we had low production, which led to low inventory levels. This was because our production was not in line with procurement and we were not able to produce at an optimum level. By the third quarter, we had higher inventory once we fixed issues with the production and procurement, and we were able to get more raw materials on hand and get production out quicker. However, inventory was not decreasing enough because of our pricing strategy for this round. By the end of the last quarter, we were able to have higher sales, which reduced our inventory levels. However, we still remained at a average medium level in inventory because we did not want to perform a flash sale to get rid of our remaining stock.
Now I will talk about our results. Our profit for the first two rounds of the game were low, and we realized that our problem was only selling 500-gram line. We decided to fix this issue by adding the 1-gram line of products. In addition, we tried more focused and responsive marketing. We also ensured timely supply of inventory to never run out of products, because this was one of the big problems that we faced, especially in the first two rounds of the game, which affected our results. We also, as a result, we managed to improve the sales performance in the last two rounds noticeably, and we would have targeted the West region to increase our sales